You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life feels lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
The calendar has flipped from 2023 to 2024, and we start in one of the biggest ways we possibly can. The Extreme Motorsports Xfinity Series, presented by Ricmotech, is here for round number 10 of their season at Talladega Superspeedway in Talladega, Alabama. Good evening, everybody. My name is Frank Marchese. Thank you very much for making us a part of your evening, and thank you very much for making us a part of your new year. Here on Sim Racing Media, we have a lot that we are going to be doing this year, a lot that we're excited for, a lot of great races that we are going to bring to you, and at least for me, this is my first of 2024, and boy, is it going to be a good one. We have about 26, 27 drivers here that are set to go, that are set to try to maybe not get this season off on the right foot, but definitely to get this calendar year off on the right foot as we head to, again, the biggest track that NASCAR has to offer. We're just about ready to get into the qualifying session here, and once you see the screen jitter, there it is. We'll take a look now at the point standings coming into this race. Mike Rominger currently leading by a good 25 points as it stands in the championship right now over Jacob Jensen, Paul Irvin, Michael Thwaits, Alex Reeling, Ed Moris, who was the winner at Kansas a couple of weeks ago to close out the calendar year before the winter break. Rob Haynes, Austin Karp, Ed Morris Sr., Logan Koger, these guys are going to be running for a championship. A couple more here that have won races that are automatically locked into the championship as it sits. But as the points look right now, this is where we are at, and the playoffs are just getting closer and closer and closer as these races go by. We will be here every single Tuesday for the remainder of the season. No more off weeks for this series. So we'll be going straight till about the end of February when this season comes to a close. But right now, let's take a look at what is going on track at the moment. And one of the first guys out on track is the 47 of Daniel Krim. A lot of drivers jumping out on track. Here's Gary Wells about to begin his first lap. And if I could just have a moment, this is going to be a radio broadcast here for a moment. Late day at work, so a couple of minor things were overlooked. There we go. Back and ready to go. Gary Wells, John Wimbish, Mike Rominger, Michael Robinson, Nate Orlowski, all jumping out onto the track, as well as some debutantes. And here is one of them in this number 24 Chevy Camaro, Mike Campeggio. Series debutant coming into this race. Looking to complete his first lap of qualifying here at Talladega. We'll see where that puts him. That will put him fastest of all, a 54:59 for Campeggio. Michael Robinson, Gary Wells also getting times in. Daniel Krim about to start his second and main flying lap. Now you'll see two different sets of times here as far as the first time is concerned. Drivers taking that outside lane, trying to wind up the car. You'll see them about a second or so off the pace as compared to those who take the bottom. And Daniel Krim put a very good lap down, a 54:33 on his opening salvo. Ed Morris Sr. coming down towards the start-finish line. Top 10 spot in points. And Ed Morris Sr. will slot himself in sixth, quickly beaten out by Mike Rominger, your current points leader. Mike Campeggio back out on top before John Wimbish takes that over. Wimbish on pole with a 54:27, so a good time for car number 98. Garrett Heath just edged out Michael Thwaits a couple of weeks ago at Kansas to take the third spot in his debut. He'll go fifth quickest on his second lap. Alan Dobbs, car number 37, finding himself on the outside of the front row. Daniel Krim back to the top. Both drivers doing a 54:25 on their second laps. Come through 3 and 4 right now. There's Josh Wren working on his first lap. Mike Rominger goes up to P2. Ed Morris Sr. putting a very good time down as well. Good enough to net him pole position at a 54:14. Mike Rominger a 54:18. Seeing a lot of movement in the middle of the field as Josh Wren completes his first lap. He'll go 14th quickest. It's one of the quicker first laps that we've seen out of anyone. Alan Fox, car number 73, done with his qualifying. Same thing with Tommy Haynes. Michael Caffrey working on his second time around. Ted Pullen goes 7th quickest. Again, one of the faster first laps that we have seen also here from Ted Pullen. That must have been his second lap as well. Here's Josh Wren. Fastest first lap that I've recognized, the 54:33. As Josh Wren, slowest thus far. What will he do here? Must have nudged the wall somewhere because his second lap was a little bit slower for Josh Wren. It was a 54:41. As Rob Haynes up against that outside wall. Set to bring it down for lap number 2. And there you see that 55:32. He's on the outside wall the entire length of the circuit. Michael Thwaits on track, Paul Irvin on track as well, same as Logan Koger and Ed Moris. That will leave Casey Carter, Dustin Carroll, Nicholas Caldwell, and Kerry Cleaver, the only drivers that have yet to attempt a time here in qualifying. And at this point, you're getting to a stage where you may not get it in. Speaking of stages, 91 laps here from Talladega this evening. Stage break will be at the end of lap 30, so just before the 1/3 mark. As Haynes will cross the line, he will go from 19th quickest all the way up to 4th, so a very good time and a very big leap for Rob Haynes. As Ed Moris, slowest of all, he took the outside line as well. Logan Koger jumping up to 13th quickest in the number 25. There he is. Paul Irvin, 22nd quickest, definitely took that high line of 55:22. Michael Thwaits working on his first lap at the moment. Dustin Carroll has gotten out onto pit road but has not gone yet. Everyone else, Carter Casey, Nicholas Caldwell, and Kerry Cleaver, all electing to not qualify. Ed Moris jumps up to 3rd on his qualifying attempt. That was his second lap. Paul Irvin puts his first lap in. And Irvin on his second lap, pardon me, he will go 20th quickest at a 54:37. As we see Michael Thwaits, winner at Indianapolis earlier on this season. First lap of 54:99. See what that number 12 can do here, right down on that bottom, leaving about a quarter of a lane down to the bottom. And with 1:20 left here in qualifying, this will be the final lap that will be posted here in qualifying. 24th and final qualifier, 23rd and final qualifier of the night. And Michael Thwaits will go up to P9, so it'll be a top 10 starting spot for car number 12. And with 1 minute left, that will do it here in qualifying. And Ed Moris Sr. will win the pole. First pole of the season for car number 5. Mike Rominger, Ed Moris, Daniel Krim, Rob Haynes, Alan Dobbs, Alan Fox, John Wimbish, Michael Thwaits, and Ted Pullen will be your top 10 at the start of round number 10. And again, no breaks throughout the rest of the season for this series. We will be going straight on through till the end of the schedule. And those races left on the schedule: Talladega here. Atlanta next week will be their all-star race. Dover, Vegas, Homestead, Watkins Glen, Pocono, and Phoenix. That will round out this season here for the Extreme Motorsports Xfinity Series. Right now, we'll take a look at the starting grid here for tonight's race. Ed Morris Sr. and Mike Rominger will make up row number 1. Ed Morris with a time of 54.142. Getting the first pole of the new year. Ed Morris and Daniel Krim will make up row number 2. Rob Haynes and Alan Dobbs will sit in row number 3. Alan Fox and John Wimbish will make up row number 4, with Michael Thwaits and Ted Pullen making up row 5. Mike Campeggio and Tommy Haynes will sit in row 6. Row 7 will see Jacob Jensen, the second place man in points, lining up to the inside of Nate Orlowski. Logan Koger and David Kilo will make up row 8. Michael Caffrey and Eric Driggins in row 9. Gary Wells and Garrett Heath in row 10. Paul Irvin and Michael Robinson will sit in row 11. Josh Wren will be the final qualifier. He will start in 23rd. Carter Casey will line up to his outside in row number 12. Nicholas Caldwell and Dustin Carroll will sit in row 13, with Kerry Cleaver rounding out the 27-car field here tonight. Casey, Caldwell, Carroll, and Cleaver. A lot of C's there will all start via their iRating as we get set to jump into tonight's action. Weather conditions here for tonight's race. We are just past noon in sim time on this day. 75 degrees, quite warm for January. 83-degree track temperature, 75-degree ambient temperature, winds blowing southeast at a 7-mile-an-hour or so gust. As we roll on here tonight, getting set to go for what will be 91 laps here at Talladega. It is going to be a long season opener for these drivers. And again, it'll only be one points race before we get the All-Star race coming up next week. And then after that, it is straight through till the end of the season. One road course, one big track, and then pretty much all mile-and-a-halves from here on out before we get to the final race on February 20th at Phoenix. Pretty decent showing, 27 cars here tonight. I know at some point, I know as much as you guys love to hear me, I will be joined at some point here in the not-so-distant future by Sam Hesketh, one of the newest contributors here to Sim Racing Media. He will be joining me in the booth at some point here in the near future. As we are getting set to go. A lot of racing is ahead of us here in this new year. A lot of super speedway racing is ahead of us in this new year, especially this week with the start of ISNF. The Daytona 500 for them will be this Saturday at 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. But before we get to 200 laps at Daytona, we have to get through 91 laps here at Talladega. Ed Morris Sr. with Ed Morris Jr. running behind him here at the start. Mike Rominger to the outside of row number 1 into the Geico restart zone they go. 91 laps here at Talladega. We are green. It looks, seems, and feels like such a slow get-off once you get one of these races going. But boy, these guys move quickly when they get these cars wound up, as Ed Moris down on the bottom. Mike Rominger leading the first lap, as he has Daniel Krim lining up behind him. Logan Koger in the 25 appears to be bailing out towards the back. And something that we don't often see all that much, and that is the number 5 getting out in front and leading this race here a little bit. As looking wide to the outside, I believe Mike Rominger deciding to bail out. Big little gaggle here. 73, Alan Fox. Alan Dobbs, 37. John Wimbish in the 98 moving his way forward. Daniel Krim trying to move his way back. 3 wide here in the mid-pack. This is right around 9th. Campeggio down on the bottom. Or Campeggio, pardon me. Ted Pullen there as well. Getting pushed by the 17 of Tommy Haynes, 29 of Nate Orlowski, moving his way forward as Krim tries to find a way back. Same thing with Logan Koger, the 37. Alan Dobbs getting pushed out to the front. He'll jump down to the bottom. He will take over the lead of the inside lane. However, it'll be John Wimbish finding himself out in front in the race. Wimbish getting down to that bottom line after the push by Michael Thwaits. Logan Koger getting pushed on that outside line. I believe that's Michael Robinson in car number 8 behind him it is. Still 3 wide, right around the 3rd lane, or the 3rd group, I should say. Now Wimbish and Thwaits trying to gain supremacy here early. A lot of moving and shaking here thus far in the first 10 miles of this race. As Wimbish getting a push from Dobbs down on that bottom lane. Ted Pullen doing a great job of keeping to the back of Michael Thwaits before Thwaits jumps down to the bottom line as we jump on board here with Ted Pullen. .184 out in front of this line. That's through the corners though. See these cars, if they get up to a really good push, hit about 190, 192 in some cases, especially when they're sucking up in the draft. Mike Robinger's perspective from back in 12th on the outside line. Ted Pullen nosing out in front. Tommy Haynes giving him the push, but right now it's still Michael Thwaits and John Wimbish that have the line on the bottom. 8 of Michael Robinson. Jumping down to the bottom line, getting down to that 4th car on the inside lane is Robinson. Robinson now getting a big move to the middle. Bailing out of that middle line. A green car on the outside line. It's Eric Driggins. Started towards the back. He's moving his way up through the field. Lead car on that outside line, trying to rely on David Kilo for a little bit of a push. Right now, not helping. Thwaits continues to lead. That outside line certainly has more cars in it. seems a lot tighter, but the inside line, not sure if it's Wimbish pushing or what the case may be. Certainly holding station on that inside line is Tommy Haynes really giving one heck of a push to Ted Pullen right now. That outside line has been working well enough to nose somebody out ahead, but not quite enough to push them into the lead. Logan Coger, the lone car in that third lane. That Raptor number 25 now is allowed back in line. Now jumps back out of it again. As 2 by 2 we go, and there's about a good 4-car length gap. On that bottom line, but still able to push forward. 29 of Orlowski drops down to the bottom. Just about a third of the way through this first stage. Again, the stage break will come at the end of lap 30. Michael Thwaits leading, John Wimbish, Alan Dobbs, Nate Orlowski, Tommy Haynes, the first 5 cars in the race, the first 5 cars on the bottom line. Ted Pullen. A nice little push from Daniel Krim. Started a familiar spot. He was the second car on the outside line when this race began. It's currently where he finds himself right now, as Michael Robinson pushing through on the outside. Gary Wells pushing him on the high line as well. Garrett Heath coming along with him. So right now, those first 5 cars down on the bottom, a big wiggle there from Michael Robinson. Thought maybe about sneaking down into that bottom lane in front of Tommy Haynes. Wasn't quite clear. Not sure what Logan Coger's plan is on that outside line. Doesn't quite seem to be falling back, but also doesn't seem to really be pushing to get up to the front. Now he's got Michael Robinson in front of him before Robinson drops in behind Garrett Heath. In car number 6, we ride on board of Garrett Heath. Wiggling and wobbling from that number 6 car. So off the front also, you can see another thing about these Xfinity cars, how narrow that rear spoiler is compared to how wide the rest of the back bumper is. Michael Thwaits still out in front. John Wimbish still pushing. Ted Pullen still trying to lead that outside lane. And that number 15 Napa Chevrolet. One car getting a little wild there in the back that appeared to be Ed Moris Sr. Right up on that back bumper. See, here's John Wimbish. Off the back of Michael Thwaits. So much as far as room lost here at Talladega. Krim still pushing on that high line. Pullen still cannot quite get the momentum, enough of it at least, to get into the race lead. 2 pretty distinct groups have formed. The top 19 all appear to be here in this one group up front. Then it's just about a half a second or so, still very much within arm's reach, are both Ed Moris Sr. and Ed Moris. Giving themselves enough room just in case anything happens in front of them, and with it being 3 wide here towards the back of this group. Eric Driggins, David Kellogg, Mike Rominger down there on the bottom as well. Pretty safe bet is Michael Robinson getting a push now from the 34 of Nicholas Caldwell, that Long John Silver's Ford Mustang. On the outside, he's being pushed by Logan Coger. Thwaits has been out front for a majority of this race thus far. Outside of the front row would have been Mike Rominger. He led the first lap, and speaking of Mike Rominger, he is coming down pit road. A couple of drivers, knowing that they need to come down pit road in order to make it here in this stage, deciding to come at the halfway point of this stage. Mike Rominger, both Ed Moris Sr. and Ed Moris, as well as Alan Fox, all coming down pit road here.
Hey Frank, now you got me?
Get back to the front of this field, as I believe that is my broadcast partner, Sam Hesketh, who has joined us.
Unfortunately, fashionably late. That was my fault. I do apologize there, Frank, for
all good. I was fashionably late as well here tonight. I didn't realize work was going to keep me as long as it did.
I was a few hours away, so luckily I was able to make it back. barely made it. So unfortunately, lost 15 laps here. But yeah, so far it looks like it's a solid race tonight. So
has been clean and green, up side by side, 3 wide. Up here at the front, Mike Rominger out of pit road. By the way, just now, same thing with Ed Moris. Penalties for both drivers speeding on pit entry for both the 4 and the 5. So that early pit strategy for those two has worked out very detrimentally for both drivers. Good news is they will be up in the pack again after the stage break at the completion of lap 30. Michael Thwaits, John Wimbish still pushing down on that bottom line. These two have been nose to tail for the better part of 10, 11 laps now. And they have been right up here at the front as we go 3 wide the first 4 rows. Here coming down to 13 laps to go in the stage, and Logan Coger had a big wiggle second car on the outside line.
They're definitely getting really pushy. Definitely getting really pushy here tonight. You know, I noticed there's some cars in the way back in the back. They're trying to keep up with the group, trying to maintain that draft, because they lose that draft, then it'll not be good, and they'll end up falling back out of the whole group, and then it'll just be a falling back down lap after lap train.
Josh Wren there at the very back of the line. Ed Moris, Alan Fox, you see those two down at the bottom, as well as Mike Rominger and Ed Moris. Early pit stops for those 4. Moris and Fox coming out fine. Rominger and Moris Sr. too fast entering. Logan Coger will slot into line in that outside lane. Dustin Carroll jump on board with him here. 4th car in that high lane. And again, I'm kind of surprised with how these super speedways have ran here, Sam. The outside line is not able, even with more cars in it, to really get that momentum to outdrag the bottom so far.
That's really surprising, honestly, because usually that top line will create a train that just absolutely slingshot like up to 10, maybe even 15 cars, depending on how stable everybody is, to get around that bottom line. Usually, especially around Talladega. So you would think that they would be able to use that to their advantage.
Cars starting to single file out here on the bottom, possibly looking for pit stops. coming up here in the next couple of laps or so. A lot of drivers that we've seen stuck on that outside line, migrating their way down. 87 of Gary Wells, Garrett Heath in the 6. And yep, here some of them come. Nicholas Caldwell leading them down on the bottom. Big lock up there for Caldwell. Does he make it? I believe he does. His teammate, though, Josh Wren and David Colo, not the same story.
Who was that? Who just spun out back there?
That's Josh Wren. Overshot pit road, and unfortunately for David Colo, he was too close to be able to avoid him.
I honestly didn't see how hard he hit, but I don't believe that he hit the wall too hard. So it should be good, honestly.
So he was missing the back end from the incident with Colo. We'll see here in just a moment. That incident is John Wimbish from second place, leads the field down, and Tommy Haynes is going to be the next one to run afoul of the pit road speed limit. This one took a big pack of cars with them. All but 5 now have come into pit, and here are the 5. Let's take a look one more time. Here's that pit entry on board with David Colo. Josh Wren's going to come flying on the outside here. There he goes, and ooh. A bit of a nudge, nothing too disastrous as Michael Thwaits, Ted Pullen, and Eric Driggins come down pit road. That leaves Dustin Carroll and Paul Irvin. These are the last 2 to come down pit road. And by the way, that pit strategy for Ed Morris and Alan Fox may not work the way they hoped, as they are just now starting to catch up to the drivers that came out of pit road. Right now it's Alan Dobbs out in the lead with Nicholas Caldwell and Mike Rominger. Rominger not for position, but Caldwell and Dobbs, 2 of the drivers that came into pit on the very first round of the group pit stops.
Trying to see here who is where. Paul Irvin's currently leading this pack.
Yep. Irvin and Carroll now down pit road, so that will give the lead to Alan Dobbs.
Alan Dobbs.
With less than 10 to go here in the stage.
Very closely followed by Nicholas Caldwell.
Yes.
Number 34.
Then after that, there's Ted Pullen. He should just barely be close enough to sniff the draft of Mike Rominger. He would be effective 3rd, and then it's this group about a 1.5 seconds behind in closing. I call it a group. It's pretty much the rest of the pack being led by Jacob Jensen in the 64. And this is big for Jensen, because if something else can happen to Rominger here that can keep him from getting the wave around, or the lucky dog, second place man in points would be on the lead lap, and the points leader would not be. With Dustin Carroll coming out of pit road. Paul Irvin now getting caught and passed, as I believe Dustin Carroll has to come in again. Only thing I can think of for that is, well, he's stopping in the box. Only thing I can think for that, Sam, is that maybe an unsafe pit exit. Maybe he clipped the bottom line on his way out.
I mean, that will get you. That's what, honestly, when I started iRacing, like 3 years ago. That's something that I actually had no idea was causing so many of my black flags there. So that's probably exactly what happened. I think you're right, Frank.
That second pack has well and truly caught up to the first couple as Jacob Jensen, Garrett Heath, and David Kellogg have well and truly taken the lead of this race. Michael Robinson getting a push from John Wimbish on that outside. 2 of the 4 Toyotas in this race right now leading that high lane. And this is where things could get a little bit dangerous and sticky for Mike Rominger, because Logan Coger and Dustin Carroll about to go a lap down, and they should be able to stay in this group with 5 laps to go until the end of the stage. His lucky dog is not guaranteed here.
Definitely not. Number 6 making a lot of moves. Garrett Heath. He's wiggling back and forth like crazy right behind Jacob Jensen. It's like he's connecting, disconnecting, then connecting. I'm talking about right on the bumper, the 54 there, trying to get in that draft. I know he's trying to balance that car out just right so he's not right on the bumper the whole time, because that could definitely cause a big crash that I know these guys don't want tonight.
Especially not this early, almost a third of the way through this race, as Garrett Heath had a very close photo finish for third with Michael Thwaits a couple of weeks ago at Kansas before the winter break. Came out in that third position on his debut. Just looking to that outside, Michael Robinson getting the nose ahead thanks to John Wimbish, but not able to get far enough ahead to think about going to the outside line. Did lead the lap, though, and come a couple more circuits. That's all he'll need.
Yeah, number 8, 64. Oh,
contact!
64's gone. Dog, I was spitting.
Apologies for that. Off of the track far enough, so no caution has come out. David Kellogg, Michael Robinson. As now John Wimbish leading that outside line with Mike Rominger behind him. Not for position, and Wimbish, who spent so much of this first stint of the race in second place, now gets a chance to lead, and he is holding that middle line, now goes down to the bottom. It's Alan Dobbs on the outside line.
Back. Went 3 wide in the back there. Number 21, Nate Orlowski. He's going to try to take advantage here. Number 98 by himself.
Now, poor mouse placement on my part, unfortunately minimized iRacing here for a moment. So let's see what happened up at the front. Oh, Jacob Jensen's already gone here. Michael Robinson, David Kellogg also involved there. See a little bit further back. Looked like it may have been maybe a little bit of a bad push from Wimbish, possibly. We'll go back and look at it during the stage break. So we are just about ready to crown a stage winner as Mike Rominger on that outside trying to push Nicholas Caldwell to it. John
the high line's coming back.
Certainly
the high line's starting to come back there. Number 34, he getting pushed by the 4, getting pushed by the 37, getting pushed by the 07. 07 looks like he's going to try to make a third line here, and it looks like the 12 is an attempt to make it well.
Michael Thwaits getting up there with the push. 3 wide as we go to the final lap here of this stage.
29 make contact. 37-29 make contact.
Big
Right
wiggle
before
out of the
going
5
to
as
one.
well. as here comes Nicholas Caldwell down on that bottom, getting pushed by John Wimbish. Caldwell able to get out in front. Will he be able to take the first green and white checkered flag of this season? Third lane starting to fall away a little bit. Middle lane being led by a lap car. As around goes Ed Morris. We'll take a look at that in a moment. Coming to the line, Nicholas Caldwell will win the first stage of 2024. Caution came out a little bit early, but it will be Nicholas Caldwell winning the stage.
Yeah, I noticed they were going to try to make that a third outside lane. That was the furthest outside lane there. And I guess what they were trying to do is that they saw potential to make it, to try to make that, force the outside line to work and see who can get as many points as they can here with that stage. See if we could get a surprise stage winner. But obviously, just like you said earlier, that outside line here is just not working tonight for these drivers. So it did not work out in anybody's favor that was back there in the back of this little group here.
First of all, let's go back and take a look at a couple of different incidents here. This is a better look, hopefully, of the Jacob Jensen. No, it's not. Go back a little bit further here. Hopefully now we'll get a better look at the Jacob Jensen wreck here. And yep, it was a bad push there by John Wimbish that turned the 8 down into the 64. David Collot, just unfortunate bystander. And then coming to the line to complete the stage is where the second incident came in. It's coming through turn 2, and you can see Rob Haynes there in the back moving all over the place. Ed Morris in the back moving all over the place. Ed Morris Sr., that would be. Ted Poland down there on the bottom. Poland must have caught the wall somewhere. There's a little bit of damage on that right front of the 15. And 99 gets turned into the outside lane.
Michael Thwaits has a lot of front side damage. I think he's going to try to repair here because he's in the pits right now. We'll see what he's going to do here.
A lot of drivers in the pits. There is that number 12, 15 in the pits, 64, 38, 99. A lot of drivers going to be taking time to repair damage. But right now, John Wimbish currently leads here at Talladega. Stage is done and dusted. Nicholas Caldwell wins the first stage of 2024. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. You are watching the Extreme Motorsports Xfinity Series presented by Ricmotech right here on Sim Racing Media.
Allow Extreme Scoring to do the work for you.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name-brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
The search is over. The most comprehensive oval scoring solution is here. Featuring oval playoffs, adjust drivers per round, custom number of rounds, custom playoff points, provisionals, optional win and you're in, custom playoff displays, rookie championships, optional minimum participation, and load those results in seconds. Visit extremescoring.info today.
Ricmotech high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com. Ricmotech high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
The search is over. The most comprehensive oval scoring solution is here. Featuring oval playoffs, adjust drivers per round, custom number of rounds, custom playoff points, provisionals, optional win and you're in, custom playoff displays, rookie championships, optional minimum participation, and load those results in seconds. Visit extremescoring.info today. Allow Extreme Scoring to do the work for you.
Ricmotech high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
The search is over. The most comprehensive oval scoring solution is here. featuring oval playoffs, adjust drivers per round, custom number of rounds, custom playoff points, provisionals, optional win and you're in, custom playoff displays, rookie championships, optional minimum participation, and load those results in seconds. Visit extremescoring.info today.
Well, you guys, I'm sure, wanted another day of vacation after the New Year's and after Christmas, and my computer apparently felt the same way. We had a PC crash there just before we came back from break, right at the beginning of the stage. So we are back now, working lap 40 of 90 here at Talladega for the Extreme Motorsports Xfinity Series, presented by Ricmotech. Paul Irvin finds himself in the race lead. Gary Wells leading the outside line. John Wimbish and Daniel Krim right now are the two pushers. Frank Marchese in the booth alongside me, my broadcast partner Sam Hesketh, joining me for my first time working with you, Sam. And it's been quite interesting already, I would say.
It's been extremely eventful already tonight. On and off track, honestly.
It certainly has. And a lot of good drivers ending up with some damage at the end of that first stage. David Calo, Michael Robinson still in the pits trying to repair those machines. Here's more cars that belong to the beat-up brigade as Ted Pullen, Jacob Jensen, Michael Thwaits, Rob Haynes, pardon me, not Rob Haynes, that's the 36 of Josh Wren, that were all involved in incidents in the final couple of laps of the first stage. A stage.
Hey, be honest there. Be honest there, you know, those beat up guys, they're still in the race. You have to give them credit for still being in this race and not giving me up. Because honestly, I know a few people, honestly, who would have backed out of this race completely with that much damage that some of these guys have sustained. So the fact that they're even making it work and sticking together as a group really shows their dedication to this league.
There's Rob Haynes there, and I'm in the boat that would have left by now. Seeing 50 laps to go in a car 40 miles an hour off the pace, I would have said, you know what, yeah, I'll take my hit tonight. If it was like 12 to go, I'd stay in and eat it. But with 50 to go, I was like, yeah, no, I've got a couple of other things I need to do tonight.
Well, to be honest, you know, since it's Talladega, you never know what can happen. Like, everybody could end up sustaining a lot of damage, and then, you know, you could come right back into contention, even though you have a car that's like you said, 40 miles per hour off the race pace.
Right now, as we see it, we've got about 13 cars here in the main group, and Ed Moris, for his incident there at the end, of which he was more or less the star of, did not sustain enough damage to keep him off the front pace. So he is the 13th car in this front pack. Tommy Haynes has Mike Rominger for company. Now, Rominger, after getting a speeding penalty on his first attempt at a green flag pit stop tonight, was a lap down. He has since fallen a little bit backwards. Has that number 4. Speaking of Ed Moris, here he comes down pit road here rather early. Then Kerry Cleaver sustained damage in that last incident coming through the tri-oval. And then here's the damaged quartet of Pullen, Thwaits, Jensen starting to fall off a little bit, and Josh Wren. Wren is about 8 laps behind these guys. Ooh. So he's in it for the determination right now.
That 64 car, Jacob Jensen, was falling behind there, trying to catch up with the rest of his broken buddies, if you will. The broken boys.
Yep, exactly. And David Calo and Michael Robinson still down pit road, not officially out of this race yet, but they are still on pit road repairing damage. Eric Dragons right now at the moment is the only car that I can tell that is no longer in the race. Actually, the 77, Michael Caffrey, is done as well. So 2 retirements, 12 cars in the front pack. Here's Ed Morris Sr. falling into the clutches of the lead pack. And again, Ed Morris was the pole sitter here tonight. Doesn't appear to be too beaten up, Sam, so he could still make some sort of impact in this race.
Yeah, you get the... Yeah, like I said, it's Talladega. You never know what's going to happen here. It doesn't matter what you're racing here. You could be racing the Mazda MX-5s here and still have a very exciting race. So this is why you never want to give up when you're racing Talladega iRacing.
A couple of wiggles there from Daniel Krim in the 6. Daniel Krim is in the 47 on the outside. I meant to say Garrett Heath in the 6th, and Nate Orlowski in the 29 down there on the bottom lane. And again, it just appears to be the bottom lane it's back to the old days. The bottom lane's the cruising lane now.
Oh, yeah. Nothing bad there, but, if you're on that bottom lane and you do what the 98 just did,
yeah,
but in the middle of the turn and go down under that yellow line and wiggle too hard, you could easily get too loose, slam into the outside line, and it just causes a chain reaction of chaos for whoever's behind that little scuffle.
Just joining us, we are just past halfway here at Talladega, the Extreme Motorsports Xfinity Series presented by Ricmotech. First race of the calendar year 2024. This will be the first points race of the calendar year, round number 10 on the season overall. Next week will be the All-Star race at Atlanta Motor Speedway, and then it'll be Dover, Vegas, Homestead, Watkins Glen, Pocono, and Phoenix to close out the year, as we are going straight through until February 20th, which is when the championship race will be. So no more breaks, no more time off here for this series. We're going straight through till the end of February, the second to last Tuesday in February.
So question for you, Frank,
Yes.
about this series. So on their schedule, you said that they're racing at Atlanta. And now for this league, since it's iRacing, we could race at any configuration. So are they going to race this new super speedway configuration, or are they going to run the old cookie cutter track configuration?
I don't see it saying one way or the other. However, my assumption would be it's going to be the new Atlanta will be next week, and I think that would make a little bit better of an all-star race. It'll be 120 laps for that all-star race, by the way, at Atlanta next week.
Ooh. It's going to be a solid race you guys don't want to miss.
Certainly not.
If you think this is fun tonight, other than other things that we've had go down, next week is going to be even more fun. It's that track. A lot of stuff happens at this new configuration.
Absolutely. We got a lot going on here, not just in this series as well. Also, Western States Racing League Season 50 starting in about 10 minutes or so. So open up another window, support those guys over there. 50 seasons, 25 years of racing for the Western States Racing League as the
broken group is having to run low.
That damaged duo causing a little bit of a bottleneck for that bottom lane. Oh, and around goes Orlowski.
They tried to avoid it.
Orlowski somehow gets it back on the track and doesn't cause more damage. What a job. How
What
in
a
the
save.
world?
And Nate just did a really good job there catching that car. I saw it go sideways. I was like, oh, here we go. But no.
I saw it out of the corner of my eye, and my assumption was that Orlowski tried to clear and follow the front group, but he couldn't. Here he is in the middle. Yep, that's exactly what happened. Tried to cut down in front.
He hit. Yes, he was not clear to 7. That's what I thought he was.
Wow.
I honestly thought he caught the 12. I knew it was the 29, but I thought he may have clipped the 12.
Heads up driving, by the way. We're going to jump on board here. It is all too easy for Josh Wren. As you see, here he is at the back here. It is all too easy for Josh Wren to just drive right into the back of the 29. Wonderful heads-up driving by the 36 to allow the 29 that room that he needed to recover that. Great job.
Yeah, he was definitely ready for him to cut back up, too. He was definitely paying attention, really close attention.
So for Nate Orlovsky, it is tragedy averted. For Ed Moris, he is now flying virtually solo here. He has lost his group because of that incident. The man who closed out 2023 with a win will open up 2024 with a disaster.
That's Talladega for you. These super speedways are brutal.
Absolutely.
One thing does not go your way, the rest of your night is going to be either a game of catch up, a game of survive, or just a game of heavy racing like these guys here at the front are.
Now we have a couple of different groups here. We've got the top 8 that you're seeing battle up here on screen, and then it's about a second and a half back to Nate Orlovsky, Alan Fox, and Alan Dobbs. Now these 3 are catching the front group quite significantly, as a matter of fact. In the half a lap that we've actually been paying attention back up here to the front, they've caught about a half a second. So that 29 is moving back up to the front. He should regain his position back in line in no time.
See, that 25, so far since I actually got in here, about a few laps into this race, that 29, or 25, I'm sorry, he keeps trying to sling his way to the outside, get a slingshot around the 24. I don't know what his plan is. I don't know if he thinks he can get a nice boost and slide back into the middle lane, or what he's trying to do, but it's not working out in his favor every time that he attempts it. Doesn't lose ground, but it's just not working how he thinks he wants it to.
There's Rob Haynes that they just passed on the outside line is Logan Koger. Seen him do that the entirety of this race as well. He hasn't really been content to sit in that middle lane. He has jumped out quite a number of times towards that outside. And at first, I mean, the natural reaction would be, okay, he's trying to fall back. He's trying to get out of the line. So he's taking that run that's given with the draft catching up down the back straightaway, but as you mentioned, Sam, not able to do anything with it.
It doesn't help that there's not anybody behind him that's willing to help him attempt it either. So, like you said earlier, the further outside you are, the more it's just not working. And since there's nobody there to help him, there's no boost, there's no draft, not boost, but bump. So it's just not working out in his favor. Honestly, if I were him, I would probably switch it up, wait for a gap to open up between the high and the low, and try to sneak in there. But yeah, now he's falling. He's shuffling way back now. He's lost that.
Lost the on-track position to Ed Morris Sr. Ed Morris Sr. right now running in the 21st position. Currently a lap down at the moment. As Nate Orlovsky, by the way, mentioned how much he was catching up. Well, he has caught out. Nate Orlovsky has come down to the pits and is done for the night in car number 29. So he got back up into the main group and then called it a night.
Well, honestly, don't know what his mindset is, but
let's take a look and see.
Whatever he thinks is right.
Yeah, no, that was the moment that he jumped to the pits. I didn't know if unless he had something outside of iRacing that he had to attend to. Logan Koger jumping down to the bottom now. Paul Irvin still out in front, as he has been since we've recovered from the PC wanting another vacation day. Gary Wells still out in front on the outside lane. Not much has moved between the front 4 in this race. It's been Paul Irvin and John Wimbish down on the bottom, and Gary Wells and Daniel Krim out on the top. Everyone else, though, has been trying to move around, unfortunately to no success.
I want to point out that right now it kind of looks like it's a Toyota versus Chevy ordeal at the moment, other than Garrett Heath just trying to make himself known in that Ford.
Toyota, It's a Toyota versus Chevy right now, with the Toyota pushing the Chevy and the Chevy pushing the Toyota. As Logan Koger, we've mentioned him over the last couple laps. He has come down pit road for a scheduled pit stop, I would assume. 18-year-old out of Saraland, Alabama, so this will be a home race for him. Coming down pit road, unfortunately, as a solo entity.
Ooh, going a little bit below that yellow line. I think that's the number 6, Heath.
Cars cycling down to the bottom now, I'm assuming getting ready to come into pit. These guys would have last come in back on lap 31, so it's getting to be about time. Paul Irvin was able to stretch the fuel tank about as far as anyone was able to in the first stage. However, he did absolutely zero leading in the first stage. He has done pretty much all of the leading here in the second one, so I don't think he'd be able to last longer than anyone else this time by.
Let's see who's planning on coming down pit road. I think they're really just going to try to do a drafting train and just slingshot around one at a time. Maybe attempt 2 at a time, although I don't think that'll really work out in their favor. Seeing how that highline is. I think they figured it out, Frank, and they're like, let's all single file here, make a train, and see what we can make work as far as gaining positions on with the slipstream. Or draft, sorry. Wrong motorsport. Same concept, different track type.
Still not quite ready to come down pit road. Everyone is single file, though. By the way, I'm sure somebody cares, but Logan Koger out on track right now, running in 12th after coming down pit road. Saraland, Alabama, a 4.5 hour drive away from Talladega. Not too far away, I would say a suburb of Mobile, Saraland. So, like I said, I'm sure there is one geography nerd that's going to watch this race and be very, very appreciative that I said that.
Well, to be honest, Frank, as a geography nerd myself, I too appreciate it. Ironically enough. All right, here we go.
Oh, everybody comes down. Alan Dobbs just about catches the back end of Garrett Heath.
Yeah, Dobbs got sideways there. Started trying to slow down.
Everybody in that top group, though, does come in. Nicholas Caldwell coming down pit road as well. He got shuffled out of the draft. As now the driver's starting to roll off. Paul Irvin will regain his spot back out in front of the group. And let's watch, once again, this interesting pit entry for Alan Dobbs. Let's ride on board here.
So what happened here? Ooh. Okay, so it looks like he just came in a lot faster than he wanted to. And he's like, oh, we need to slow down really quick. From the other angle, from the TV angle, it kind of looked like he was about to run into the back of Heath, like you said, but it looks like he just came in way too hot.
Garrett Heath had a big lockup on the left front as well. You saw that left front smoking. So now, as it sits, thanks to pit exit, Paul Irvin, Garrett Heath, Alan Dobbs, and John Wimbish find themselves as the lead pack, as Mike Campeggio has either had an internet connection issue.
Nope. He's disappeared completely, I believe.
Yeah. Oh, there he is.
Oh, no, okay.
Mike Campeggio and Alan Fox are paired together, about 2 seconds behind that top 4. In 5th and 6th, then it's 3.5 seconds back to Gary Wells, Daniel Krim, this pairing. Then it's Casey Carter. It's Daniel Krim behind him.
Okay, yeah, I didn't see that. But yeah, 47, okay.
There is Carter Casey in the 28. He has Ed Morris, who is not for position in front of him, so he has a drafting partner. Logan Coker, who again came into pit about 3 laps before anyone else, still sits all alone. Nicholas Caldwell's in the same spot, even though he's coming up to a couple of damaged cars. So we have about a third of this race left to complete, and thanks to pit stops, we now have a 4-car race up here at the front. We'll take a quick break, be right back. You are watching round number 10 of the Extreme Motorsports Xfinity Series presented by Ricmotech here from Talladega.
Allow Extreme Scoring to do the work for you.
Ricmotech high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
The search is over. The most comprehensive oval scoring solution is here. Featuring oval playoffs, adjust drivers per round, custom number of rounds, custom playoff points, provisionals, optional win and you're in, custom playoff displays, rookie championships, optional minimum participation, and load those results in seconds. Visit extremescoring.info today.
Back here at Talladega Superspeedway, round number 10 for the Extreme Motorsports Xfinity Series. Caution is out for the second time tonight. First time for incident, and it was a big one. Josh Wren has a hardware issue. The wheel snapped over left and right into the inside wall at full throttle. Let's jump on board. Watch the hands on the steering wheel here. He's trying to suss out the issue by weaving and then snap. It's going to be for a split second here in this camera, but watch the right front tire. You'll see it pointed directly left.
Snaps all of a sudden.
And then watch Ted Pullen come in.
Because flying by, barely misses him.
Let's see if we can get on board Ted Pullen here for this. Bump drafting with Michael Thwaits.
Just down low. So he can't see it. Ted cannot see it, so he's going to try to go make that move. And then all of a sudden, there's a car just sitting there sideways on track.
It's one thing that you don't really realize when you're watching on the sim is that camera is a lot higher, so you can see the car wrecking in the far off distance there. That's not what Michael Thwaits is seeing. Ted Pullen, rather. That's not what he's seeing. He is seeing the entirety of the back bumper of the 12.
Yeah,
and
so
it's only when Thwaits pokes out to the outside does he realize, oh God, there's a car in my lane.
Let's see. So he was following. Who was he following? Was he following?
It was Michael Thwaits. Yeah.
Yeah. So if Thwaits was any lower, like let's say Thwaits was like, "Oh, I'm gonna drive by, crashed out car here. I'm gonna drive by as close as I can, almost clipping it." If he had that mindset instead of going up a little bit higher. When Pullen made that move, he would have just slammed right into the side of him.
Never would have saw him.
Because he pulled out of that draft like pretty hard too.
Getting set to go back to green flag racing here. Lap 66 of 91. Garrett Heath, by virtue of not coming down pit road here, under this caution, will be out in front. Green flag is back in the air, off and running again. Garrett Heath and John Wimbish, the two leaders.
Almost looks like they kind of delayed it just there for a second. Whoa, 98. It kind of got loose there, really loose.
73 of Alan Fox in that Walmart delivery Chevy Camaro behind him. There's the 28 of Carter Casey, who is bailing out. He is a lap down now, is the 28. Why? I'm not entirely sure. We missed that. But Casey bailing out to get to the back of the line. John Wimbish getting a good enough push from Alan Fox to get him down to the front. And for a guy who has seen the back bumper of the race leader for a vast majority of this race, I'm sure Wimbish will be happy to see clean air in front of him and showing a back bumper.
I think
it's not going to last long, though.
I think Carter Casey's mindset there, why he pulled out and went to the back, is because what he thinks is that these guys up here in the front, this group that is now all drafting together again, this one big happy draft family, is that they might get really aggressive here on these last several laps, almost 20 left at this point. So they're going to start getting really aggressive, making moves, as we can see here on screen now. They might end up causing a big one, starting with the leader, and he wants to be able to maybe be able to slide through that cleanly.
John Wimbish is back in a very familiar spot. Second car on the inside lane. Oh, contact in the back. The 37 of Alan Dobbs hits the inside wall. Off the racing line, we stay green. Contact with the 99, sending the 37 of Alan Dobbs down low. And now the caution comes out.
Dobbs had a super hard hit. I saw that in the corner of my eye. Well, he just slammed into the inside wall. Extremely hard there. Car got airborne too a little bit after he hit that wall. Such an impact at an angle.
No, at least Gary Wells, possibly Daniel Krim as well, did clear the inside lane before the caution came out. There's the contact, there's the hit. It's not a light one.
Oh, it's not a light one.
Let's take a look again here from a little bit further back, hopefully. You're
I could hear through the camera as well.
It's the
sorry, go ahead.
99 you're going to be watching here. He is going to come down and into the 37. That's what sends him off.
I think the 39 was trying to. I think he was losing the draft, so he's going to try to sling back down, capture that draft on maybe the low line, and then last minute he saw that Dobbs was right there, and it's like, it's too late.
It's on board. That's Kerry Cleaver to the outside of the 99. Yep, just
barely too. It's these super speedways. One little tiny tap is going to send you flying or into a wall. Maybe through the grass.
Yeah.
Clip that front bumper, just start flipping.
It's our second caution for incident here tonight. As we will see.
Oh, someone's fake. He faked him.
Daniel
24 didn't take the bait, though.
A couple other drivers do come in. Led by Alan Fox, Garrett Heath, who didn't pit last time through. Tommy
That Walmart
Haynes.
delivery paint scheme is probably my favorite out of this whole field. Just because I've never seen that on iRacing before. I've seen Walmart in a form, but Walmart deliveries is super specific.
A lot of drivers do.
It looks like it says, oh no, just it's 73, but it looks like I thought he was going for 7.3 because of that white line. It goes right perfectly in between the 7.3. It looks like 7.3 from an angle.
A lot of drivers do put their place of employment on their cars. I'm not saying that that's the case here with Alan Fox here. Alan Fox had a very good run in his debut at Kansas a couple of weeks ago, coming home in second. The debutants really showed out well at Kansas 2 or 3 weeks ago. Alan Fox finishing second, Garrett Heath finishing third. Very good run for those guys. And another debutant here tonight, Mike Campeggio, running in third, qualified third. He's been kind of hanging out in the back, hasn't made too much noise here tonight. And for a driver debuting in a league, Sam, this is not one of the easiest places to debut and have success, not just because of the nature of super speedway racing, but you're racing around a bunch of guys you've never raced with before, and you have no friends, not because no one doesn't like you, but because no one knows how you race yet.
Yeah, and so it's hard to tell when someone shoots out a line. Do you want to follow them or not? You don't know because you've never raced with these guys, like you said. He's made it work, though. He's made it work.
He's had a very calm, quiet night, has Campeggio, and we've said many times on ESPN, SRM broadcasts, that just because we're not talking about you doesn't mean you're having a bad night. He's had a very solid night, even though he hasn't been on camera all that much. As we get set to go back to green flag racing, Gary Wells to the bottom, John Wimbish to the outside. A couple of Toyotas are going to lead a line of Chevys to this restart. Ed Moris in car number 7 has gotten back on the lead lap. So he was the lucky dog recipient.
That's junior, correct?
Yes. Ed Morris Sr.'s in the 5. Ed Morris is in the 7.
I'm seeing it now in the live timing. Sort of.
Right now,
This is
Alan
strange.
Dobbs.
Oh.
Alan Dobbs, here he is in the 37, recovering from that last bit of damage. He is still on the lead lap as well. Nate Orlovsky, who we mentioned had disconnected earlier on. He is back. He is only one lap down, and right now, at the moment, he is the first car. He is the first car no longer on the lead lap, so he is in lucky dog position if another caution were to come out in the final 20 laps.
And it most likely will.
It's got to be good enough to not be in it.
Have a feeling. I'm not going to say it. I was going to say it, but I don't want to be that guy. Because when it happens, it's not going to be fun.
No such thing as a commentator's curse. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen.
I don't know. I've seen some bizarre things in sim racing and IRL when it comes to commentators.
Gary Wells leading the field down. Car number 87 on the bottom. Green flag back in the air. We are racing once again. Krim on that bottom pushing the 87, getting him clear. Wimbish on the outside with Logan Koger back up in the draft. And out to the third lane go Tommy Haynes and Garrett Heath.
They're trying, but it's just not working out for him.
Not here in the early stages of this run. There goes Koger to that outside. Koger may have just got dummied up there.
Yeah, he did.
They
saw that 25 and they were like, yeah, he's been trying it all night. Let's leave him out there this time.
You keep trying it, Sunshine. We'll take the middle. Koger's going to fall in line. He is not 10th in line, but he is 10th on the timing and scoring pylon.
It might work out for him at the right time. You never know. He might swing to that outside right as everybody starts crashing, and he'll probably just sneak right through and win. You don't know.
There are a lot of cars, by the way, in the running for the lucky dog here. Nate Orlovsky, Kerry Cleaver, Ted Pullen, Michael Thwaits, Mike Rominger, and Carter Casey are all running to be the first car one lap down when a caution comes out, as John Wimbish gets a healthy push from Tommy Haynes on that outside line. He will take over the race lead, and he is content with the outside, at least for the moment.
The two Toyotas, followed by two Chevys.
It's down on the bottom, followed by three Chevys. An outside line, it's Toyota, Chevy, Ford, Chevy.
Daniel Krim definitely making himself known to Gary Wells here. I notice once they get to the backstretch, Daniel Krim is not shy about just barely tapping the bumper of Gary Wells.
Daniel Krim, remember, did not qualify. Did not qualify in the 47. He is up 21 spots from where he began today. And most of everyone, not everybody, but most of everyone, all running in the main pack, whether on the lead lap or not. That's that's Nicholas Caldwell on that outside going to the third lane. That brings Dustin Carroll.
They just left that 12 out there to dry.
He's got a little bit of damage, I'm sure. Does the oh no, he was I don't think he was involved in an incident. I'm thinking of somebody else. Dustin Carroll, Paul Irvin on that outside line. Nicholas Caldwell, Logan Koger there.
That far outside line, they timed it just right. Look at the 92 now.
Going for the race lead, John Wimbish in the middle, being pushed by Tommy Haynes. Mike Rominger, he's in a race of his own, trying to get the lucky dog. He's tacked onto that third lane.
Logan Koger is really getting super impatient with all these packs. He's jumping from middle, then he jumped to the high now. Almost made contact with who's that behind him?
Stuck on the high. Stuck on the high lane there. That was Carter Casey, keeping him from going down into the middle. Mike Rominger behind him. John Wimbish out in front here in this middle lane.
They're getting really loose in that middle lane there. I think the 12 kind of slammed into the 73 just a little bit coming out of one of the turns.
Mike
Rominger shoot way down.
Mike Rominger had a big moment, almost came door to door with the 15 of Ted Pullen.
These guys on that far outside line are kind of making it work on the straightaways, but they're losing just a little bit of ground going into these turns.
Just try to maintain it, try to help that run coming off.
See, watch the far outside line get this run right here down the backstretch.
Part of it's the draft, part of it's the wide corner, allowing you to keep that momentum up. Part of it's the banking, gravity doing work for you.
I really think the gravity's against them here on these bankings because they're losing a lot of ground. I refuse to believe that it's anything to do with aero. It has to be the gravity part.
A lot of clean cars up here as well. May not be the case come the final 14 laps. Right now, at the moment, Michael Thwaits will be the free pass car. There's the difference. Nate Orlovsky's right below him. So there is the difference between being on the lead lap and not.
The outside line's starting to fall way back now, lap after lap.
Mike Rominger has gone from the outside lane to the bottom lane, so now you're down a soldier on that third lane. And now Logan Koger has just dropped to the middle.
Logan Koger is like, we're falling back again.
Oh, no, he's back up to the high line now.
Like I said, he's impatient. Koger's not wanting to wait on these guys. He wants to make moves. He wants them to work when he wants them as soon as he makes them.
They got one heck of a run, did those two on the outside line. That forced John Wimbish to try to make a block coming out of turn 4, and that allowed Gary Wells to push back up to the front.
Tommy Haynes is sticking right there with John Wimbish.
On board Garrett Heath, right in the middle of 3 wide here. So you want to race at Talladega? This is what you have to look forward to.
If you're in the middle line like this, 3 wide, in the middle of the pack, especially the lead pack, if there's a crash in the front, your chances of escaping are slim to none.
Yeah, I am hating life.
Keep that in mind.
I am hating life right now if I am in Garrett Heath's position. Another strong run on that high line pushes Dustin Carroll to the race lead. Paul Irvin gets clear to the middle line.
Dusty Carroll made that way outside line work. He's really loose right there, being pushed by Paul Irvin.
Carter Casey and Ted Pullen now jump up to that third lane behind Logan Koger.
11 laps left.
Looks like Jimmy Johnson's old nationwide, or Xfinity paint scheme, I should say, when he started in that number 92.
Oh, yeah.
Very early 2000s, maybe late 90s, very early 2000s.
That is before my time watching live NASCAR, honestly.
Getting close, 11 laps to go. 12 cars with a chance to win up here at the front. And a lot of lap cars in between that can certainly make a difference. Carter Casey trying to make that third lane work. Carter Casey, Logan Koger, Ted Pullen in the third lane. Dustin Carroll and Paul Irvin leading the middle. Gary Wells and Daniel Krim leading the bottom. 10 laps to go coming to the line.
John Wimbish, he's way back. Well, not way back, but he's back in a spot where he definitely don't want to be. So he's going to be looking for a way to push his way back up to the very front.
Carter Casey getting a very good run on that outside line. Only thing is, Carter Casey is not for the race lead. Logan Koger is, but Carter Casey's trying to get a lap back. And at the moment, he's got it. He's got it back the old-fashioned way. Logan Coger to the middle line. Oh, and almost off the 87.
Oh.
Logan Coger said, "Thank you very much, lap car. I'll take this from here." And
Logan Coger has been extremely aggressive. Here he goes. Here he goes. I knew he had something up his sleeve. He waited until to get up front, and now he's using that low line to his advantage. Will it work for him? We'll see.
Now he's got to try to fend off Dustin Carroll and Paul Irvin, who've proved to be very, very strong on that high line. Ted Pullen out there as well, trying to push Carter Casey. Pullen's looking for a lap back as well. Same thing with Michael Thwaits behind him. Same thing with Mike Rominger behind him. All 4 cars on the outside line, 1 lap down.
Logan Coger, some strategy he's had tonight. Some strategy. Super aggressive racing, too.
We were questioning it, wondering if it was the right decision, if it was the right call.
I really was. I was like, I just want to see what he's up to. Like, he's got something up his sleeve. Because I've never seen that before at Talladega with any car. And look where he is now. Went from the back. Whoa.
Oh, that's sliding. That's Daniel Krim down
He's
on
caught
the bottom.
Daniel Krim caught it. He's going to merge back into no traffic. Luckily, that was a really good catch by Daniel Krim.
And fortunately for him, Ed Morris Sr. is far enough off the back that he could use him as a bridge to try to stay with the front group. As here comes Paul Irvin looking to the bottom. Dustin Carroll's gotten there as well. Carter Casey looking to get a lap back in the middle. Oh, this is going to get tight.
Those lap cars need to stay down.
Yeah, they got down. Oh, and around goes Coger, and that's going to be the big one.
Oh, Logan Coger's in it. Ah, you got to be kidding me. I need to see exactly what happened here.
Logan Coger, Ted Pullen involved as well.
Oh, man.
There's another car in it. I believe Alan Fox may have caught a piece of it. I could see the back bumper of Garrett Heath is gone.
Not the Walmart car. It'd be funny if he was able to deliver us a win.
I see what you did there. See what happened here with Logan Coger. And again, this is trying to get around the lap cars. And to be clear,
they cut Coger way off. They cut Coger off first.
To be clear, the lap cars did nothing wrong. They were trying to get out of the way. It's just product of this type of racing. Oh,
Coger tried to move up. It was. I don't know. Can we go on board Coger really quick?
Yeah,
I want to see something.
I want to see something. That was definitely net code between the 25 and the 17 that started it. On board a Coger.
Coger hit the wall in such a way that I don't believe he took that much damage. I could be wrong. Oh, no, he took damage. All right. Oh, yeah, I see it. No, he did take a lot of damage.
See it one more time here. Just trying to funnel around the lap cars. Ted Pullen had nowhere to go. Michael Thwaits caught a piece of it. Mike Rominger.
Oh, the 6th.
Garrett Heath.
Garrett Heath took a hard hit. Well, not hard hit. He got clipped and slammed into the outside wall. Not his fault. He was trying to avoid all this mess as it was happening.
So a lot.
Well, no, I see it again, and he did get hit really hard, actually. Right rear.
See that right front corner as well of Garrett Heath on this shot here. You can see it beaten in. So then, 6 laps to go. Dustin Carroll, John Wimbish, Paul Irvin, Gary Wells, Mike Campeggio, Alan Fox, Ed Morris, Daniel Krim. Those are the drivers that are up front here that did not come into pit. Tommy Haynes, Logan Koger, Garrett Heath, Nicholas Caldwell, all a part of that incident, by the way, did come down pit road. And here is Carter Casey. Didn't quite get his lap back the old-fashioned way, but he is back on the lead lap.
Oh,
He got close, though, and that was one heck of a line on the outside line. If I'm racing a couple of other guys for the free pass, I'm not getting in line with them unless I have to. But that was 4 cars all one lap down on that third lane.
Frank, these the last 15 laps have been crazy.
They absolutely have been.
Not complaining at all. Not complaining at all. I'm enjoying this. I hope you are too.
Yeah,
this is fun. This is fun.
It's been one heck of a show to open up the new year.
They say end the new year off, or end the year off with a bang, but we are starting the new year off with a bang.
Certainly kicked it off in one heck of a way. So reset, 4 laps to go when we take the green. Dustin Carroll, John Wimbish, your front row. Paul Irvin and Gary Wells, your second row. Alan Fox and Mike Campeggio, your third row. Daniel Krim and Ed Morris. Ed Morris will line up on the outside. Mike Rominger, not on the lead lap, will line up on the inside. Daniel Krim on the lead lap lines up on the outside with Kerry Cleaver not on the lead lap on the inside. Then
Daniel Krim. Oh, nope, continue.
Then it is Ed Morris Sr. and Nate Orlovsky, both of those drivers not on the lead lap, and then Carter Casey, who just got back on it.
So, I know Daniel Krim is on the lead lap, but him getting loose like that earlier and losing the pack, the main pack, probably was one of the best things that could have happened for him in these dire times.
I think we've all done it in super speedway racing. We get really annoyed, we get really angry about losing the pack or a mistake that ends up in the pack, and then that all goes away when the big one happens right where you were, and all of a sudden
you're far enough back to like get out of the way.
All of a sudden that anger goes away. So here we go, 4 laps to go to see who gets the first black and white checkered flag of the year before we head to Atlanta for the All-Star race next week. Dustin Carroll, John Wimbish, the 2 leaders. Paul Irvin and Gary Wells, the 2 pushers. Green flag is out. Bad restart on the outside line for Wimbish.
Wimbish.
Carroll and Irvin are clear.
Great start by Dustin Carroll. However, here comes Wimbish, though. He's going to have a run, possibly getting pushed by 87. Gary Wells once they get to the backstretch here.
Inside line was at quite a disadvantage because Mike Rominger was a part of that last incident. He did not get going, and that really kept the bottom line from being able to push.
Something happened in the back because everybody just got majorly spread out in the back.
I think it's slower cars trying to siphon themselves back out. Faster cars trying to catch up. Dustin Carroll on that bottom, 3 laps to go. Paul Irvin giving one heck of a push. Paul Irvin, remember, dominated the first half of this second stage.
It's causing him to be super loose, though. He's super loose. Dustin Carroll's really steady. It's not a good combo if they hit each other, trying to bump draft a little bit too hard.
Speaking of being really loose, Dustin Carroll took 4 tires and fuel back on lap 69 John Wimbish, the last time he was down pit road was lap 63, fuel only.
That 48 definitely needs to be careful because he could get super loose and just completely lose it by himself.
But those 3 cars on the bottom, this is what we saw earlier on in the race. Now, granted, the outside line isn't, they're not lined up, but those bottom 3 able to hold off that high line.
If everybody gets a good run, we could see a 4-wide finish here.
Certainly could. Outside line.
It looks like 73 is getting a little bit of a run each time.
Outside line, John Wimbish, Gary Wells, Mike Campeggio, Nicholas Caldwell almost getting up into the wall as Carter Casey looks to the inside of him. Caldwell, winner of the stage, so he'll get a couple of extra points here tonight. Bottom line, Dustin Carroll, Paul Irvin, Alan Fox.
24 got really aggressive right there.
Yeah, he did. Look at Carter Casey on the high line getting pushed by Nicholas Caldwell. White flag in the air. We are racing back to checkered.
They're 3 wide all behind Dustin Carroll.
Bottom line has been the place to be. I don't know how much you would want to give that up. As Wimbish getting a very good push right now from Gary Wells. Gets Wimbish out to the race lead, but not clear of the 92. Look at Carter Casey on the outside line getting a shove.
28 got a little bit loose there.
A lot of moving and shaking here through the field. Dustin Carroll, does he have enough on that bottom line? The momentum is coming. Carter Casey has it on the outside. There's Wimbish. It's going to be Carter Casey out in front. Can Dustin Carroll win the drag race? He will not. It's going to be Carter Casey winning here at Talladega.
28 placed himself perfectly. He could not have been at a more perfect spot right there on that last lap.
From 1 lap down with 7 laps to go to victory lane. What a run for Carter Casey.
And Dustin Carroll too, because I think both of these drivers were like way at the back at the start.
Ed Moris, another guy, saw how much trouble he had, was involved in a couple of incidents here tonight. He's going to come out of this with a 3rd. And we'll speak with these guys here in just a moment, but boy, oh boy, what a way to bring in the new year. One heck of a race.
Really here, quick, Frank.
Absolutely.
Can we see the onboard of the 28 right before the crash?
Yeah, let's take a look here really quick at this finish.
His placement could not have been more perfect. Probably just by luck alone.
He's going to get pushed out by Nicholas Caldwell just enough.
Oh, if he was not pushed, he would have just got clipped.
And then such a great run to the finish. No one bangs off of each other.
They wanted to here.
Yeah, they certainly did.
They wanted to.
And with that, we will now jump over to our race winner, Carter Casey. Carter, from a lap down with 7 to go to victory lane, bud, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. That was a good finish there. I had no idea that was going to play out the way it did, so I just shot my shot when I did and just kind of, I don't know, closed my eyes, if you want to say, and just hoped it sticked, So that's pretty much how that came down.
Carter, when you can, I want you to watch this race broadcast replay. If you were not pushed just that 1 inch ahead, you would have got clipped. It worked out in your favor with your placement.
I was watching the rear view. I saw somebody got hooked in the right rear, and I was like, oh boy, they're gonna come right up the track. And I tried to swerve a little bit right to. You never know with net code and these things. If I don't give myself all the benefit of the doubt, I could get net coded, or like you said, it probably would have just tagged me in the left rear clean. So Yeah, I was I was kind of puckered up there, and just happy it worked out the way it did. Those guys raced me clean to the line too. The ones that made it through that. That was a pretty cool finish.
I want to go back to prior to the last caution when you're racing to try to get back on the lead lap. You're racing around 6 other guys that are in just the same equipment as you, all trying to get back on the lead lap. You have 3 of them behind you at one point in that third lane. How tense was that race to try to get back on the lead lap?
Yeah, I didn't like being in that scenario, especially I joined this league a little bit late, so I didn't want to be in a spot where I take somebody out that's trying to compete for a playoff spot. So it was really just walking a fine line of, hey, like we still got to go fight for a lucky dog. Like everybody wants to go out here and win, right? But you want to make sure you do it in a way that's not gonna contradict or like compromise anybody's chances that have been running the whole season. So that was not a scenario I wanted to be in, but at the same time, you kind of have to fight for it. And just a little bit of moves here and there. As somebody goes, try to make the third lane work, and then somebody jumps in front of you. You kind of have to shoot to the mid and then jump back in front of them off the top when you pass them, because there was just a lot of lap cars battling for that lucky dog. And I'm just glad. Yeah, I'm just glad it worked out, and nobody got tore up as a result of that battle in and of itself. I think there were some lap cars we rolled up on, and before that caution came out that got me the lucky dog, and that's where it kind of got a little bit tight. But yeah, not a scenario I ever want to be in, but just you got to do what you got to do, you know.
Now, I'm not sure. Maybe this win locks you in, but are you going to be eligible for the All-Star race next week at Atlanta?
I believe a win does lock you in for your eligibility.
So then, what are your thoughts going into Atlanta next week?
Yeah, with these cars, the Xfinity specifically, tire fall off does play a little bit of a factor. So those first few laps it's different than just the Dega or Daytona. The tire fall off a lot of people will probably run 100%, and then they'll start losing the handle at a track that you really need to be 100% throttle at. So managing those first 5-10 laps will kind of dictate who really charges through the field later on in a run. So it's an interesting mix. So I look forward to it.
Anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, just a shout out to Hutch Sport Racing, Nerds Doing Nerd Things podcast, All Star 15 TV. There's a whole lot of other people affiliated with Hutch Sport that I don't have my list pulled up right now. I'm slacking. I can't remember them all, but no, those guys at Hutch Sport, they've made this possible. So just big thanks to them.
All right, Carter Casey, congratulations. We will see you at the All-Star race next week.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
Now with that, we will move to our second place finisher here tonight, Dustin Carroll. And Dustin, it looked for a little bit there like you had the run for the win, but unfortunately comes up just a bit short.
Yeah, it was a great finish, great race, great finish. Congrats to Carter. I needed Paul on my rear end, and unfortunately he got collected coming off of turn 4 and right before the pit entry. And I didn't know. I saw Ed in my mirror, didn't realize Carter was out in front of me. So I'm sitting there just trying to maintain, and I could have been a little bit higher to side draft maybe. A few things I could have done differently, but I mean, I spent most of that race a lap down from speeding on pit road early in the race. So to finish second, that's a win for me.
I think everyone here in the top 3 has spent time in this race, a lap down, a good amount of it as well. How it looked throughout the race like that outside line just was not working the way we're used to seeing it work around here at Talladega. How did you and Paul make that third lane work the way you guys did to get the lead before that last caution?
Well, I mean, me and Paul's been racing together since roughly 2016 on console. So we have a lot of chemistry, especially working at plate tracks. Whenever we both started on iRacing, we work together a lot and race together. We've ran in multiple leagues together, so the chemistry's there. I mean, if you get somebody that you can work really well with and know what they're going to do, they know what you're going to do, you can make things happen. And I was very surprised that we was able to work that outside that well. I mean, at Daytona it works a lot better, but to work here, mission accomplished.
Now, I'm not sure, but will you be eligible for the All-Star race next week at Atlanta?
I am not sure exactly. I'd have to look into that.
So just in case, in 2 weeks we go back to points racing at Dover. What are your thoughts going into that track, which is not great for tire wear, especially in a car that's not great for tire wear?
Well, not in the playoffs. I need that win to make it in the playoffs. My goal is just to collect wins here and do whatever I can to help Paul advance in the playoffs.
Anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Shout out to y'all, man. Like, y'all put on a great broadcast week in, week out. Shout out to Extreme. Ed's done a great thing over here. It's been fun. I ran over here whenever they had the next gens here, and I enjoyed it. So whenever I found out the opportunity was here, I was like, it took me 3 seconds, and I was like, I'm in. So, but yeah, hats off to y'all. Y'all put on a great broadcast every week, man. And shout out to Paul. Paul, I wouldn't have been in the position I was in if it wasn't for Paul. So, he did a great job.
Well, we really appreciate that, and we will now let you get on with the rest of your evening. Congratulations on a second-place finish here tonight. Dustin Carroll, bud, congratulations.
Thank you.
And now we will move to our third-place finisher here tonight, Ed Moris. Ed, I'm sure a lap down with a little bit of damage. I'm sure this is not where you were expecting to be.
No, not after the night we've had. I did not expect to be up here with a podium finish, or even a top 10 finish at that.
Just talk to us about your race. You had that early pit stop. Half of your quartet ends up getting a speeding penalty. So you're hoping for the stage caution. Then you get involved right as the stage is about to end. More damage throughout the rest of the night. It was just walk us through the hell that was your evening.
Yeah, I mean it was tough. We started off, trying to figure out what strategy we wanted to play. The fuel window, I mean, it was right there if you could manage to save enough, and we might have been able to make it on the stage without pitting. But I mean, I don't know if we would have had enough to make it back the pit road after the caution had flown. So we kind of played it safe, and we figured, okay, maybe the rest of these guys will try to play that saving strategy, and it might slow the field down a little bit if everybody's just trying to, run 3/4 throttle or so. Like, well, maybe we come down and take a splash of fuel and just run hard. Maybe we make some time up when these guys realize they can't make it and pit. Maybe we'll be out ahead. So that was the idea starting off. But as you said, that only works if everybody can execute properly. And half of us got speeding penalties, and the other half, made it. So it ended up only being a couple of us. And then, like you say, ran into trouble there, got involved in a wreck, and didn't get enough fuel in the car and had to pit again, and got into some more trouble trying to get back in the main pack to try to race for the lucky dog. And I don't know, we got lucky there and actually did get the lucky dog and was able to get there at the end. And it just lucky maneuvered right there at that last wreck. And if I'd had a little bit more road to run, I think I would have passed both those guys. Had a good run, but the line came up too early.
We go to Atlanta next week for the All-Star race. What are your thoughts going into Atlanta?
So actually, next week's going to be a little different. The All-Star race is actually, as of tonight, it's getting pushed to the end of the season.
Oh, okay.
Just to try to get more race winners. I mean, we just got a new race winner tonight, so that's another eligible All-Star driver. So we're going to push it till after the season finale, just to try to get more participants, try to make a better show.
Fair enough.
Since we don't really have much past drivers that are eligible.
Fair enough then. So after, so Dover would be next week. What are your thoughts about going into Dover?
Well, we're going to start the playoffs. You know, it's just try to start off strong and keep the car clean, and just the goal is to get to the next round. That's all you can do is aim for the next round, and I think we should have a few bonus points to help us out at this first round. So, yeah, Dover's a fun track. I'm pretty good at Dover, so we'll try to aim for a win and try to get to the playoffs next round as quick as we can.
All right. Anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Just everybody here at Extreme Motorsports, all the drivers, all the fans, admins, you guys for doing the broadcast, everybody, Frank and all the guys over at Ricmotech, Russ and Kevin over at Extreme Scoring, all the support they give. That's what makes this place go. So I appreciate everybody that's here.
All right, your third place finisher tonight, Ed Moris. Bud, congratulations.
Thanks, man.
And with that, Sam, that brings to a close one heck of a night and one heck of a way to start up the new calendar year of 2024. A great race, 2 100ths of a second between first and second, 4 100ths of a second between first and third. A great race overall here tonight. A little bit of hiccups. Both of us getting off of work a little bit late. Start the broadcast on time, fortunately. Then my PC crash in the middle. All in all, a full night, but a fun night here at Talladega.
We made it work. Work. Dover's going to be super technical. It's going to be a very technical track, managing tires and fuel total.
Yep, absolutely. It is going to be a fun night at Dover, I am sure, as we continue on and close out the night here from Talladega. Let's take a look at the finishing results here for tonight's race. Carter Casey takes his first win of the season. Dustin Carroll, Ed Morris, your top three. Nicholas Caldwell and Gary Wells will make up the top five. Alan Fox, Daniel Krim, Paul Irvin, John Wimbish, and Garrett Heath round out the top 10. Tommy Haynes, Kerry Cleaver, Mike Campeggio, Mike Rominger, and Alan Dobbs, your top 15. Logan Koger, Ed Morris Sr., Nate Orlovsky, Rob Haynes, and Michael Thwaits down to 20th. Ted Pull and Jacob Jensen, David Kellogg, Josh Wren, Michael Caffrey, Michael Robinson, and Eric Driggins rounding out the field here for the first round of 2024 and the final round before we go playoff racing at Dover next week. So that will do it for us here tonight from Talladega. For my broadcast partner, Sam Hesketh, I am Frank Marchese. Thank you very much for making us a part of your evening. We will see you all next week at Dover. Until then, be happy, be safe. Happy New Year to everyone out there, and have a wonderful night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.